So we started Fresh to Home with a vision of providing, amazingly good quality food that's wholesome and but free of chemicals, antibiotics, or preservatives, and especially in the fish and meat category, and directly sourced from fishermen and farmers. Right, the concept originated by a need that I had. I was, an entrepreneur who would spend most of my early professional life in the valley, and then had relocated back to India. And at that point, I couldn't get good food, especially in the fish and meat category, for my own kids and family. That's really the need in which we started Fresh to Home. So we've remained true to that value, right? Everything that we sell is without any sort of chemicals. We have traceability. Like if you buy Fresh to Home fish from in Dubai today from us, we can tell you to which boat the fish has actually come from, or at which farm the poultry has come from. That's really the key USP. And that's really how we started the company. It's grown really quickly. Now we're the largest in the world in this category, doing about 2 million orders per month and about 130 million US dollars of revenue. And that's really the genesis of Fresh to Home.
And you've raised money from some fantastic people. The CFO of Facebook, the CEO of Google Ventures. This round has seen the Amazon Venture Fund. How do you attract the attention of these big names?
See, at the end of the day, it was really about figuring out the gap in the market and unmet need, which is really about the fish and meat space, which is a 50 billion US dollars market just in India. And if you take the GCC, which now we are in Dubai and the entire UAE as well, and we are going to in Saudi and other markets, it's a 250 billion US dollars market, right? So imagine this. Just the India market alone, $50 billion is bigger than the size of all the Spider-Man and Avengers movies put together. That's the first thing to get investor attention, right? To focus on a market that's large enough. We then created and found the unmet need, which in this category is really about figuring out food without preservatives, but at a mass market price, right? That's really what sells, especially given the sort of middle class consumer base and sort of price sensitive consumer base. And that's really the second thing we identify. The third one was to identify an unfair advantage. And in our case, the unfair advantage was most e-grocery companies are generally not profitable. And especially given the current market environment, right? We are fully operating margin profitable. And we did this using some amazing technology, especially an AI-based technology that allowed us to auction from huge amounts of fishermen and farmers, right? Across about 3,000 fishermen and farmers across 400 harbors in India. And also do contract farming. We do about 25,000 tons of fish and meat today and about 10,000 tons of farmed produce. So that the combination of large market, an unmet need, and an unfair advantage is really what allowed us to get funding from some of these large players that you hear talk about.
We've got about 4 minutes left with you. The UAE is about 15% of your market. India is the rest. How big could Saudi be for you?
Saudi is a $24 billion market, so it is actually the big daddy in the region. So essentially, it could become our largest play. And so we think it could be 20-25% of our overall revenue size.
And where after Saudi?
So we are expanding broadly to all of GCC. But if you look at it, India alone is incredibly large, right? We are in 160 cities, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. We are still less than 1% of the market share.
What's the big goal? Where do you eventually want to take Fresh to Home? How big could it get?
So I think there are two aspects to it. From the commercial side, I'll let alone that aspect to it. As an entrepreneur, having done multiple software companies in the past, the real vision is to take chemical-free food to the next billion people, right? That's how big it could get. From investor consideration, we are looking to go public or go IPO in the next 3 years' time.
Where would you do that?
So we haven't decided that. I am now a resident of Dubai. The company has got a regional headquarters here. So UAE and the GCC region is a definite possibility. India could be a possibility. We are also Singapore Holdco. So we have a lot of options. We're just evaluating it at this point.
Well, obviously, we've got a bit of an IPO train going here in the UAE. What will swing your decision as to where to list?
At this point, it's really around what kind of multiples are the different markets getting. We're also looking at what's the sort of cash flow in the overall IPO market sentiments. We're carefully evaluating that because if you've seen, there's been an overall dip. It's been a bear market, but we have seen a very attractive inbound investor interest in the private markets. And we want to see how we can replicate that in the capital markets. That will be the key consideration.
We're seeing quite a bit of consolidation in the food delivery industry.
Yeah.
Is this something that you are interested in at all, either acquiring or allowing yourself to get bundled into something bigger?
you can't plan an M&A, it just happens, right? So we are always looking out for it. And also it's important to realize that we are not a food delivery company. We are an online D2C brand, which is now going omni-channel. So we also have offline stores. So for example, in the UAE, in the waterfront market, we have 2 stores, and it's an omni-channel play.
The other thing we have seen in this space, and the wider space, I realise, is the rise of the super app. The idea that the people who deliver your meat and fish might also be the people who sort out your home cleaning, your car valeting, whatever else. Any idea to move beyond the food space?
So no, we are very, very focused on figuring out the fish and meat supply chain, because super apps can give you the customer acquisition, but you need a specialist, right, who understands your fish and meat. You wouldn't want somebody cleaning your car to also serve you fish.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.